One of the most powerful principles of reality, which has the power to completely transform our lives forever, is the self-worth principle. This great transformation doesn't involve specific techniques or strategies that require action, but is related to how much you value yourself. Most people spend their entire lives chasing external validation, looking for proof that they matter, searching for someone or something to tell them they're good enough. But what if I told you that the universe has already been responding to exactly how much you think you're worth this entire time? For example, if your desire is to receive abundance and success, the truth is that you need to believe you deserve it on the inside before this shows up on the outside. Otherwise, you'll keep jumping from one opportunity to another, thinking that the problem lies with the world around you. You'll blame the economy, your boss, your circumstances, other people, bad luck, or timing. You'll try every strategy, every business idea, every new approach, but nothing will stick because the real issue isn't out there. It's in here, in how you see yourself. Think about it this way. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to have everything go their way? They get the promotions, they attract the right relationships, opportunities just seem to fall into their lap. Meanwhile, other people work twice as hard but struggle to get half the results. What's the difference? The difference isn't luck, it's not who they know, and it's definitely not that life is unfair. The difference is how much they believe they deserve good things to happen to them. The person who believes deep down that they deserve success walks into rooms differently. They speak differently. They make decisions differently. They don't apologize for taking up space. They don't shrink when good things happen to them. They expect good treatment because they know their worth. And here's the incredible part. The universe responds to that energy every single time. But here's what most people do instead. They wait for external proof before they feel worthy. They think, once I have the money, then I'll feel valuable. Once I get the relationship, then I'll feel lovable. Once I achieve the success, then I'll feel deserving. But that's completely backwards. The universe doesn't work that way. The universe pays you first in proportion to what you believe you're worth, and then the external evidence follows. This is why you see people who win the lottery and lose it all within a few years. Deep down, they didn't believe they deserved that money, so the universe took it away and gave them experiences that matched their internal worth. This is why you see people who come from nothing and build empires, because internally, they knew they deserved more than what they currently had. So the universe conspired to match their external reality to their internal worth. If you don't change how you see your own worth, nothing external will change. This is the fundamental essence of the self-worth principle. You can try every manifestation technique, every business strategy, every dating advice, every success method, but if deep down you don't believe you deserve the results, none of it will work long term. You might get temporary results that excite you, but then you'll sabotage them or they'll disappear because your external reality always comes back to match your internal worth. This is why so many people feel like they're running on a hamster wheel. They work hard, they see some progress, then something happens, and they're back where they started. They blame external circumstances, but the real reason is that their external success exceeded their internal worth, so the universe brought them back down to match their self-image. If you master this principle, everything you touch will turn to gold. However, this requires you to confront your own doubts about yourself. You'll have to face the voice in your head that says you're not smart enough, not talented enough, not worthy enough. You'll have to challenge the beliefs you've carried since childhood about what you deserve and don't deserve. You'll have to stop playing small and start taking up the space that's rightfully yours. This isn't easy work. It's much easier to blame external circumstances than to take responsibility for your internal worth. It's much easier to stay comfortable in familiar struggle than to expand into unfamiliar abundance. Your mind will resist this change because it's been protecting you by keeping you small. It thinks that if you don't expect much, you won't be disappointed. But what it doesn't realize is that by protecting you from potential disappointment, it's also protecting you from potential joy, abundance, and fulfillment. Most people are terrified of their own power. They're scared of what might happen if they truly believed they deserved amazing things. They're afraid they might become arrogant or lose their humility. They're afraid people might judge them or think they're getting too big for their boots. So they stay small, they play it safe, and they wonder why life feels so limited. But here's what you need to understand. Knowing your worth isn't arrogance, it's alignment. When you know your true value, you don't need to prove it to anyone. You don't need to brag or show off because your worth isn't dependent on other people's recognition. You simply live from a place of knowing that you deserve good things, and that energy is magnetic. If you're really ready for a significant change in how the universe treats you, this video is for you. If you're tired of settling for less than you know you deserve, if you're ready to stop playing small, if you're willing to do the internal work required to shift your self-worth, then keep watching, because what I'm about to share with you will change everything. Reality is a mirror that reflects your relationship with yourself and how much you believe you deserve. Your inner worth and your outer rewards are always in perfect alignment. The universe isn't personal. It doesn't have favorites. It simply responds to the energy you put out, and the energy you put out is directly related to how worthy you feel. What do I mean when I say that reality is a mirror? Think about an actual mirror for a moment. When you look in a mirror, it doesn't judge what you're wearing or how you look. It simply reflects back exactly what you present to it. If you smile, it shows you smiling. If you frown, it shows you frowning. The mirror doesn't have an opinion, it just reflects. The universe works the same way. It reflects back to you exactly what you believe about yourself and what you think you deserve. If you believe you're worthy of love, respect, and abundance, the universe says, yes, you are, and sends you experiences that confirm that belief. If you believe you're not good enough, don't deserve happiness, or that good things happen to other people but not you, the universe says, you're right, and sends you experiences that confirm those beliefs too. Let's go back to the example of receiving abundance. If your relationship with yourself is that you're not worthy of good things, that you don't deserve success, that you should be grateful for whatever scraps you get, then the universe will say, oh, that's what you believe, so be it. Here's more evidence of why you don't deserve good things, and life will give you more situations that confirm what you think about yourself. You'll get passed over for promotions, you'll attract relationships where you're not valued, you'll find yourself constantly struggling financially even when you work hard. You'll notice that opportunities seem to go to everyone except you, and each time this happens, it reinforces your belief that you're just not worthy of better, which creates more of the same experiences. But here's the beautiful part. This same mechanism works in reverse. When you start to genuinely believe that you deserve good things, that you're worthy of success, love, and abundance, the universe immediately starts reflecting that back to you. Opportunities start appearing. People treat you differently. Money starts flowing more easily. It's not magic. It's a natural law that's always been operating. You just weren't aware of it. The challenge is that most of our beliefs about our worth were formed when we were children, and we're not even conscious of them. Maybe you were told you were too much, too loud, too sensitive. Maybe you were made to feel like love had to be earned through good behavior or achievement. Maybe you grew up in an environment where money was scarce, and you learned that wanting more was selfish or greedy. These early experiences created unconscious programs about what you deserve and don't deserve, and these programs have been running your life ever since, determining what you attract and what you repel. The good news is that once you become aware of these programs, you can change them. But first, you have to be willing to look at them honestly. Think about your current life situation. Look at your relationships, your finances, your career, your health. What you see is a perfect reflection of what you believe you deserve in each of these areas. If you're constantly surrounded by people who don't appreciate you, that's reflecting a belief that you don't deserve to be appreciated. If you're always struggling with money, that's reflecting a belief that you don't deserve financial ease. If you feel stuck in your career, that's reflecting a belief that you don't deserve to do work you love. This might be hard to hear, but it's also incredibly empowering because it means you have the power to change everything by changing your internal worth. You don't have to wait for external circumstances to change. You don't have to wait for other people to recognize your value. You don't have to wait for the perfect opportunity. You can start right now by deciding that you deserve better and aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with that decision. The universe is constantly giving you feedback about your self-worth through your external experiences. When you start paying attention to this feedback without judgment, you can begin to see the patterns. You can start to notice where you're selling yourself short, where you're accepting less than you deserve, where you're playing small because you don't believe you're worthy of more. And here's what's really incredible. The moment you start to shift your internal worth, the external world begins to shift too. It might not happen overnight, but it will happen. The universe is always listening, always responding, always ready to match your external reality to your internal worth. The question is, what are you telling it you deserve? If we look carefully at the world around us, it's clear that most people are stuck in the trap of looking outside for validation. We live in a time where your worth is measured by how many likes you get on social media, how much money you make compared to others, what car you drive, what clothes you wear, where you live, and what other people think about you. We've been conditioned to believe that our value comes from external sources, and this conditioning is destroying our natural sense of worth. Think about how this plays out in daily life. Someone posts a picture and then obsessively checks to see how many people liked it, because those likes determine how good they feel about themselves that day. Someone gets a promotion and feels amazing, but then they see that a colleague got a bigger promotion and suddenly they feel worthless. Someone buys something expensive to feel successful, but the feeling fades quickly and they need to buy something else to feel good again. This external validation seeking is like being addicted to a drug. You need more and more of it to feel the same high, but it never lasts. And the worst part is that you're giving away your power to everyone and everything outside of yourself. You're essentially saying, I'll only feel worthy if you approve of me, if you recognize me, if you validate me. But what happens when that validation doesn't come? What happens when people criticize you or ignore you? Your entire sense of worth crumbles. Social media has made this problem worse than it's ever been in human history. People are constantly comparing their real lives to other people's highlight reels. They see someone else's success, happiness, or abundance, and immediately feel like they're falling behind, like they're not good enough, like they don't deserve what that person has. This constant comparison is poison to your self-worth. But here's what you need to understand. Most of what you see on social media isn't even real. People post their best moments, their best angles, their biggest wins. They don't post about their struggles, their failures, their insecurities, their bad days. You're comparing your complete reality to someone else's carefully curated fantasy, and that's a game you can never win. Even worse, people have started to measure their worth by metrics that mean absolutely nothing. How many followers you have, how many views you get, how much engagement you receive. These numbers have nothing to do with your actual value as a human being, but people build their entire identity around them. They feel successful when the numbers go up and worthless when the numbers go down. We've also been taught that our worth comes from our achievements. From the time we're children, we're rewarded for getting good grades, winning competitions, being the best at something. We learn that love and approval come when we perform well and disappear when we don't. This creates adults who tie their entire sense of worth to what they accomplish. The problem with this is that achievements are temporary and external. You can work your whole life to achieve something, get it, feel good for a moment, and then immediately start worrying about the next achievement you need to unlock to feel worthy again. It's an endless cycle that never leads to lasting fulfillment because you're trying to build internal worth through external accomplishments. Many of us have lost connection with our inner value, the inner worth that we were born with. Every baby comes into this world knowing they deserve love, care, and attention. They don't question whether they're worthy. They just expect their needs to be met because they exist. Somewhere along the way, we unlearn this natural knowing and start believing that we have to earn our worth through what we do, rather than remembering that we're valuable simply because we are. We're constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we're not enough as we are. Advertising works by making you feel incomplete, so you'll buy something to feel whole. You're too fat, too thin, too old, too young, not successful enough, not attractive enough, not smart enough. There's always something wrong with you that needs to be fixed by purchasing something. This conditioning goes deep into our subconscious minds. We start to believe that our worth is tied to what we have rather than who we are. We think we'll feel valuable when we have the right house, the right car, the right clothes, the right relationship, the right job. But people who have all these things often feel just as empty and unworthy as people who don't, because external things can never fill an internal void. The truth is that the consumer culture needs you to feel unworthy, so you'll keep buying things to try to feel better. If you truly knew your worth, you wouldn't need external things to validate you. You'd buy things because you enjoyed them or needed them, not because you thought they would make you more valuable. This realization alone can save you thousands of dollars and years of chasing the wrong things. Let's explore the 4 keys that will enable you to shape how the universe pays you according to your true worth. These keys will help you break free from the external validation trap and start living from your authentic worth. Once you understand and apply these keys, you'll notice that life starts responding to you differently. Opportunities start flowing more easily, and you'll attract experiences that match your true value rather than your programmed limitations. The first key is to understand that the universe reflects 2 things: your relationship with yourself and your relationship with what you deserve. This is fundamental to everything else we'll discuss. The universe isn't responding to your words, your actions, or even your conscious thoughts. It's responding to your deepest beliefs about yourself and what you think you're worthy of receiving. In other words, what you receive from life is a projection of how worthy you feel and how much you think you deserve. If you look at yourself and think, "I'm not good enough," the universe will simply reflect that belief back to you with more proof of why you're not good enough. You'll attract situations that confirm your unworthiness. You'll find yourself in relationships where you're not valued, jobs where you're not appreciated, and circumstances that make you feel small. This happens because the universe responds to your internal dialogue, not your external words. You might say out loud, "I deserve success," but if internally you're thinking, "Who am I kidding? Good things don't happen to people like me," the universe hears the internal dialogue and responds to that instead. Your external reality will always match your internal reality, no matter what you say or do on the surface. Think about someone you know who seems to attract drama and problems wherever they go. They might complain about their bad luck or blame other people, But if you listen carefully to how they talk about themselves, you'll notice that deep down they believe they deserve to struggle. They expect things to go wrong, they assume people will disappoint them, and they prepare for the worst. The universe simply gives them exactly what they expect. On the flip side, think about someone you know who seems to have a charmed life. Things just work out for them. People want to help them. Opportunities come their way. If you pay attention to how they think about themselves, you'll notice that they have a natural sense of worth. They expect good things to happen because they believe they deserve good things. They don't question whether they're worthy of success, love, or abundance. They just assume they are. Your beliefs about your worth were formed over many years through countless experiences, messages, and interactions. Some of these beliefs serve you, but many of them limit you. The beliefs that limit you sound like this: I'm not smart enough to be successful. I don't deserve to be happy. Good things happen to other people, not me. I'm not attractive enough to find love. Money doesn't grow on trees. I should be grateful for whatever I get. These limiting beliefs act like invisible walls that keep you trapped in experiences that match them. You might consciously want more money, but if you unconsciously believe you don't deserve it, you'll sabotage every opportunity to create it. You might want a loving relationship, but if you unconsciously believe you're not lovable, you'll attract people who treat you poorly or push away people who treat you well. The good news is that beliefs can be changed. They're not facts about reality. They're just thoughts you've been thinking for so long that they feel true. But just because something feels true doesn't mean it is true. You can choose new beliefs about your worth, and when you do, the universe will start reflecting those new beliefs back to you through your experiences. Here's how the reflection process works in practical terms. Every morning you wake up with a certain feeling about yourself and what you deserve. This feeling is based on your beliefs about your worth. Throughout the day, you make decisions, take actions, and interact with people based on this feeling. If you feel worthy, you make different choices than if you feel unworthy. When you feel worthy, you speak up for yourself, you set boundaries, you ask for what you want. You don't accept treatment that doesn't match your value. You expect good things to happen. This energy attracts people and opportunities that match your worth. When you feel unworthy, you stay quiet when you should speak up. You accept poor treatment. You don't ask for what you want. You expect things to go wrong. This energy attracts experiences that confirm your unworthiness. The universe doesn't judge whether your beliefs about your worth are accurate or not. It simply responds to what you believe. If you believe you deserve poverty, it will give you poverty. If you believe you deserve abundance, it will give you abundance. It's completely neutral and always fair. It gives everyone exactly what they believe they deserve, based on their deepest convictions about themselves. What you need to understand is that the rewards we see in our material world show up with a certain delay. This is one of the most important concepts to grasp if you want to work with the universe instead of against it. Many people give up on changing their self-worth because they don't see immediate results, but that's not how the physical world works. Here's why there's a delay. In our inner world, we can change how we feel about ourselves instantly just by deciding we're worthy. Right now, in this moment, you could choose to believe that you deserve amazing things. You could decide that you're valuable, lovable, and worthy of success. That internal shift can happen in a split second because thoughts and feelings move at the speed of light. However, in the physical world, things take time to show up because matter is dense and follows natural laws. Think of it like planting a seed. The moment you plant a seed, growth begins, but you don't see the plant immediately. First, things are happening underground that you can't see. The seed has to break open, roots have to form, nutrients have to be absorbed. Only after all this invisible work is done does the plant break through the soil where you can see it. Your new beliefs about your worth work the same way. The moment you start truly believing you deserve better, things begin shifting in the invisible realm. The universe starts rearranging circumstances, aligning people and opportunities, setting up synchronicities. But this reorganization takes time to show up in your physical reality. This is why so many people give up too soon. They start working on their self-worth. They feel good about themselves for a few days or weeks, but when they don't see immediate changes in their external circumstances, they conclude that it's not working. They go back to their old beliefs and patterns, not realizing that they were just about to see the breakthrough they were waiting for. So you have to hold on to the belief that you deserve good things long enough for your rewards to appear. This means continuing to think, feel, and act worthy even when your current circumstances don't match your new worth yet. It means staying faithful to your new identity even when the old reality is still showing up. This is the test that determines whether you're serious about change or just playing around with the idea. Most people fail this test because they make their new worth conditional on seeing results. They say, "I'll believe I deserve abundance when I see the money. I'll believe I'm lovable when someone loves me. I'll believe I'm worthy when life proves it to me." But this is backwards thinking that keeps you stuck in the old pattern. The universe requires that you believe first before it gives you the evidence. It's like you're placing an order at a restaurant. You have to order and pay first, then wait for the food to be prepared and brought to your table. You don't get to eat first and then decide whether you want to pay. The universe works on the same principle: faith first, evidence second. This means you have to be willing to feel worthy even when your bank account says otherwise. You have to be willing to believe you deserve love even when you're single. You have to be willing to know your value even when others don't recognize it yet. This isn't about being delusional or ignoring reality. It's about understanding that your current reality was created by your old beliefs, and your new reality is being created by your new beliefs. The delay period is actually a gift because it gives you time to solidify your new worth before the universe tests you with success. If you received everything you wanted before you truly believed you deserved it, you would sabotage it or lose it. The delay ensures that when your good comes, you'll be ready to receive it and keep it. The universe doesn't reflect the nature of your thoughts, but their pure content. This is a game-changing concept that most people completely miss. They think that because they're thinking negative thoughts, they're doomed to attract negative experiences. But that's not exactly how it works. The universe doesn't respond to whether your thoughts are positive or negative. It responds to what your thoughts are focused on. Let me explain what this means with some examples. If you keep saying, "I don't deserve this, I'm not smart enough, I'm not talented enough," the universe doesn't hear the don't or the not. It hears deserve this, and smart enough, and talented enough. But here's the twist. It hears these things in the context of lack and limitation because that's the emotional energy behind your words. When you say, "I don't have enough money," you're focusing on money, but from the perspective of not having it. The universe responds by giving you more experiences of not having enough money. When you say, "I can't find love," you're focusing on love, but from the perspective of absence. The universe responds by giving you more experiences of not finding love. When you say, "I'm not successful," you're focusing on success, but from the perspective of failure. The universe responds by giving you more experiences of not being successful. This is why so many people stay stuck in patterns they don't want. They're constantly talking about, thinking about, and feeling what they don't want. They complain about their problems, which keeps their attention on their problems. They worry about what might go wrong, which keeps their energy focused on things going wrong. They feel bad about what they don't have, which keeps them in the vibration of not having. The more you focus on what you lack and what you're not worthy of, this will continue to show up in your life, giving you more reasons to feel unworthy. It becomes a self-reinforcing cycle. You feel unworthy, so you focus on evidence of your unworthiness, which creates more evidence of your unworthiness, which makes you feel even more unworthy. But here's what's fascinating. This same mechanism can work in your favor once you understand it. If you focus on what you want and what you deserve from a place of knowing you're worthy of it, the universe will give you more evidence of your worthiness. If you focus on the abundance you already have and feel grateful for it, the universe will give you more abundance to be grateful for. The key to applying this in your life is simple but not easy. Focus on what you want and what you already have that proves your worth. Stop giving your attention to what's missing, what's wrong, or what you think you don't deserve. Start giving your attention to what's working, what you're grateful for, and what you want to experience more of. This doesn't mean you ignore problems or pretend everything is perfect when it's not. It means you acknowledge what's not working without dwelling on it, and then you deliberately shift your focus to what you want instead. You become solution-focused rather than problem-focused. You become abundance-focused rather than lack-focused. For example, instead of saying, "I never have enough money," you could say, "I'm grateful for the money I do have and I'm open to receiving more." Instead of saying, "Nobody appreciates me," you could say, "I appreciate myself and I'm attracting people who see my value." Instead of saying, "Good things never happen to me," you could say, "I deserve good things and I'm open to receiving them." Start looking for evidence that supports your worth rather than evidence that contradicts it. This is like changing the channel from a show you don't like to a show you do like. The negative evidence is still there, but you're not tuning into it anymore. You're tuning into evidence that supports the reality you want to create. Every day, look for proof that you're valuable, deserving, and worthy of good things. Maybe someone smiled at you. Maybe you accomplished something small. Maybe you helped someone. Maybe you felt good about yourself for a moment. These might seem like tiny things, but when you start collecting evidence of your worth, it builds momentum. The universe is always giving you evidence of what you believe about yourself. If you believe you're unworthy, you'll notice every slight, every rejection, every time things don't go your way. If you believe you're worthy, you'll notice every kindness, every opportunity, every time things work out in your favor. The evidence was always there, you just weren't looking for it. Most people are trapped in this cycle. They look at what they don't have, feel unworthy, and then receive less from life. They observe their current circumstances, use those circumstances to form their self-image, and then the universe reflects that self-image back to them through more of the same circumstances. It's like being stuck in a loop that keeps repeating itself over and over. The standard cycle that keeps people stuck looks like this. First, they observe their current reality. They look at their bank account, their relationship status, their job, their living situation. Then, they use what they observe to form their identity and beliefs about what they deserve. If they see lack, they conclude they don't deserve abundance. If they see loneliness, they conclude they don't deserve love. If they see struggle, they conclude they don't deserve ease. Next, the universe reflects this identity back to them through their experiences. If they believe they don't deserve abundance, they'll make choices and take actions that keep them in lack. If they believe they don't deserve love, they'll push away people who could love them or attract people who can't. If they believe they don't deserve ease, they'll create more struggle in their lives. But if you want to become a true creator of your worth, you need to reverse this cycle. Instead of looking at what you don't have and feeling bad, Start with deciding you're worthy first. Turn your back on your current situation and realize that what's around you now was only created from old beliefs about your worth. The Creator's cycle works differently. First, you decide what you're worth, regardless of your current circumstances. You choose your identity based on who you want to be, not who you've been. You declare your worthiness before you have evidence of it. This takes courage because you're going against everything you've been taught about how reality works. Next, you hold on to this new identity even when your current reality doesn't match it yet. You think, feel, and act worthy even when your circumstances suggest otherwise. You make decisions from your new worth, not your old limitations. You expect good things to happen because worthy people deserve good things. Then, instead of just observing what's wrong with your life, you actively look for confirmation that your new worth is showing up. You notice the small improvements, the little synchronicities, the subtle shifts in how people treat you. You celebrate every piece of evidence that supports your new identity, no matter how small it might seem. This creates positive momentum that builds on itself. The more you notice evidence of your worth, the more worthy you feel. The more worthy you feel, the more evidence the universe gives you. It's the same cycle as before, but running in the direction you want instead of the direction you don't want. The key is to keep doing this consistently, even when it feels weird or fake at first. Your old patterns have momentum, and it takes time to build momentum in a new direction. But once you get the new cycle going, it becomes easier and more natural to think, feel, and act from your worth instead of your limitations. Here's a crucial exercise I still practice today, and it has the power to completely transform how you see yourself and what you believe you deserve. This exercise will help you create a clear picture of your worth and give you a concrete way to start living from that worth every single day. First, become clear about what you want to receive from life in the long term. Not just what you want to have, but what you want to experience, how you want to feel, and who you want to become. Take some time to really think about this. What would your life look like if you truly believed you deserved amazing things? What would you be doing? Where would you be living? How would you be spending your time? Who would you be surrounded by? Don't limit yourself based on what seems realistic or possible from where you are now. This isn't about being practical. It's about connecting with your true desires and what your heart knows you're worthy of. If money, time, and circumstances weren't an issue, what would you choose for your life? What brings you alive? What makes you feel excited and inspired? Then ask yourself, who am I being when I deserve all these good things? What characteristics do I have when the universe is paying me well? This is about identifying the version of yourself that naturally attracts and receives what you want. What qualities does this person have? How do they think? How do they feel? How do they carry themselves? How do they treat themselves and others? Maybe this worthy version of you is confident, kind, grateful, generous, peaceful, joyful, creative, bold, loving, or wise. Maybe they have unshakable faith in their value. Maybe they expect good things to happen. Maybe they don't question whether they deserve success, love, or abundance. They just know they do. Write down these characteristics and really feel into what it would be like to embody them. How would you move through the world if you naturally had these qualities? How would you make decisions? How would you respond to challenges? How would you treat yourself when you made mistakes? How would you celebrate your wins? Create powerful statements about your worth that you can repeat daily to reinforce your new identity. These affirmations should feel true to the worthy version of yourself, even if they don't feel completely true to your current self yet. The goal is to stretch into your worth, not to affirm what you already believe. Here are some examples. I am worthy of abundance because I have value just by existing. The universe wants to give me good things because I deserve them. I am valuable, lovable, and deserving of respect. Good things flow to me easily because I know my worth. I deserve to be happy, successful, and fulfilled. My worth is not dependent on what I do or what others think of me. Choose affirmations that resonate with you and feel like they're calling you forward into a bigger version of yourself. Say them every morning when you wake up and every night before you go to sleep. Say them throughout the day when you catch yourself thinking unworthy thoughts. Say them until they start to feel natural and true. Start treating yourself like someone who deserves good things. This might mean buying yourself flowers, taking yourself on dates, speaking to yourself with kindness, setting boundaries with people who don't respect you, or pursuing opportunities that excite you. It might mean upgrading your environment, investing in yourself, or simply walking with more confidence. Every day, look for evidence that supports your worth. Notice when someone treats you well, when something works out in your favor, when you accomplish something you're proud of, or when you feel good about yourself. Keep a worth journal where you write down these moments. The more you notice them, the more they'll multiply. Practice making decisions from your worth instead of your insecurities. Before you choose what to do, ask yourself, what would someone who knows their worth do in this situation? Then do that, even if it feels scary or unfamiliar. This is how you start building a track record of worthy choices that will reinforce your new identity. This is real. This is something I applied and it really worked, so I'm passing it on to you. I wasn't always someone who knew my worth. For years, I struggled with feeling like I wasn't enough, like I didn't deserve good things, like I had to work twice as hard as everyone else just to get half the results. I was caught in the trap of looking outside myself for validation, constantly comparing myself to others and never feeling like I measured up. At the beginning, I thought believing in my own worth was silly, selfish, or unrealistic. I thought that if I expected good things, I would just be setting myself up for disappointment. I thought that if I felt worthy, I might become arrogant or lose my drive to improve. I thought other people would judge me for thinking I deserved more than what I had. But I was tired of settling for less than I knew I deserved. I was tired of playing small, of not speaking up for myself, of accepting poor treatment from others. I was tired of working hard but not seeing the results I wanted. So I decided to experiment with this worth principle, even though it felt foreign and uncomfortable at first. I started by paying attention to my internal dialogue and realizing how much I was focused on what I lacked instead of what I wanted. I caught myself constantly thinking thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, other people are more qualified than me, I don't deserve this opportunity. I was shocked by how mean I was to myself in my own mind. So I began deliberately changing my focus. Instead of looking for evidence of my unworthiness, I started looking for evidence of my worth. Instead of focusing on what was missing from my life, I started focusing on what I was grateful for and what I wanted to create. Instead of comparing myself to others, I started celebrating my own unique gifts and contributions. I created affirmations about my worth and repeated them even when they felt fake. I started treating myself better, setting boundaries with people who didn't respect me, and making choices from my worth instead of my insecurities. I began expecting good things to happen instead of preparing for the worst. When I saw the results, it was amazing. Things I wanted started coming to me, even beyond what I had imagined. Opportunities appeared that I never could have planned or predicted. People started treating me differently, with more respect and appreciation. Money began flowing more easily. Relationships improved. I felt more confident, peaceful, and joyful. But the most incredible part wasn't what I received externally, it was how I felt internally. I stopped needing other people's approval to feel good about myself. I stopped comparing myself to others. I stopped apologizing for taking up space. I started enjoying my own company. I began to genuinely like myself for the first time in my life. The universe knows no limits. It only responds to how much you believe you're worth. Just like someone who values gold gets gold, we can transform our lives by knowing our true worth and focusing on what we deserve. The universe is abundant and wants to give you good things, but it can only give you what you believe you're worthy of receiving. Your worth isn't something you have to earn or prove. It's not dependent on your achievements, your appearance, your bank account, or what other people think of you. Your worth is inherent. You were born with it, and no one can take it away from you. You are valuable simply because you exist, because you are a unique expression of life that has never existed before and will never exist again. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is your belief about what you deserve. When you truly know your worth, when you feel it in your bones, when you live from it every day, the universe will move heaven and earth to match your external reality to your internal knowing. This isn't wishful thinking or positive psychology. This is a fundamental law of how reality works. You have a choice right now. You can continue looking outside yourself for validation, comparing yourself to others, and settling for less than you deserve. Or you can decide that you've had enough of playing small and you're ready to claim your worth. You can choose to see yourself the way the universe sees you, as infinitely valuable, completely deserving, and worthy of all the love, abundance, and joy that life has to offer. The revolution starts within you. It starts with changing how you see yourself and what you believe you deserve. It starts with treating yourself like someone precious and important. It starts with expecting good things and refusing to accept less than your worth. When you make this shift internally, everything external begins to shift too. The universe has been waiting for you to remember your worth so it can shower you with the blessings you've always deserved. The time is now. Your worth is calling.